Well, I think that personalization is something that's been perfected online, but it really becomes multidimensional in an offline world, and I think that's where there's a lot of innovation and an upside yet to be had. Just knowing someone's email address and maybe the digital breadcrumbs that they've left through their social media still leaves out a lot of contextual information where we can hit new levels of personalization by understanding again, situations that might have to do with climate, traffic, real-world events, sports and entertainment that are occurring in and around retail and merchant environments. Those are all signals now that we can start incorporating into a more personalized picture of the consumer. Well, the challenge is knowing the consumer's location, understanding the context of what situation they're in at the time. Consumers want to have messaging that's relevant both to the time and place that they're experiencing. And if you send them the wrong message at the wrong time, you can alienate the brand, you can create a level of distaste, I think frustration that the consumers are far more sensitive to than they have in the past. So time as a dimension for personalization really describes what situation the consumer might be in. For example, at 9 a.m., time might describe a breakfast situation, versus later evening, that might describe a dessert situation, or it might also describe potentially an entertainment situation. They're at a game or a movie. That's important specifically in making sure that the message to the consumer is relevant to the situation. You're not going to send a lunch offer at breakfast, nor would you send a breakfast offer at 9 o'clock at night. But time can also be a season. So for example, you're talking about, holiday offers versus back to school offers. Time can also be a certain day of the week. Time could relate to a person's birthday. All of these things illustrating that time is not just a measurement of the clock, but also the calendar. Location is another very important dimension within personalization, in that it can tell a lot about the current situation for the consumer. Being in Phoenix, Arizona in November is a different environment than being in Boston, Massachusetts, and might warrant the difference between a hot soup offer versus maybe a cold sandwich offer. So you may know a lot about who that consumer is, but knowing their location will let you personalize the offer even more directly to that particular person's environment at that time. The third dimension that we think about is personal preferences. Sometimes this relates to demographical signals about the consumer, but it might be whether or not the consumer is a vegetarian, whether they like Star Wars movies, they're a sports fan. These are the things that define what the consumer's tastes and likes are. So when we think about the three dimensions of personalization, where they're most powerful is where they intersect. Now, for example, they can intersect just as two dimensions, or all three can come together to create a highly personalized opportunity. So if I were to think about location and time, and so for example, if I know that a consumer happens to be near a Major League Baseball stadium and it's 11 in the morning or maybe noon on a Saturday, that's a good signal that a lunchtime food promotion would probably be very relevant, something that is a to-go order that they can take to the game. Probably the most powerful opportunity for personalization is when the three dimensions intersect, when you can combine personal preferences, timing, and location to create a personalized message. For example, I might be a college football fan, and the Oregon Ducks are playing today. I happen to be in Eugene, Oregon. It's uncharacteristically cold and rainy that day. Therefore, it being lunchtime or it being a lunchtime game, a hot meatball sub sandwich might be the promotion that's offering the best combination of those three dimensions for that venue.